Have you ever wished you knew what you now know?
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And we welcome you to another episode to the Inside Track on Real Estate, where we share techniques, thoughts, and tools that we all need, we all deserve. You, I, everyone, to turn our house into our home where our families thrive and we live the best life possible. So here we are, wondering and thinking about, wishing about what I wish I knew before I bought that house, before I made that decision. Those things I didn't get figured out until it was kind of like too late.
Yeah. And
Too late for that time.
I think that, that's happened to me when we're buying a house. Maybe we bought it in the wrong area, and we'll tell maybe a little bit about our first home and the experience of getting to that first home. And also as a parent, I think we as a society would love to protect our kids from having to do the wrong things or have the wrong experiences that we had because we made the wrong choices. And that's a natural process, making choices that you learn from, right? And you move forward. And yet we would like to prevent our children from having that. Well, we at the Dekker Team want to prevent our clients from having a similar issue with buying a house.
Right, because like what we did.
Or
we
selling
weren't realtors at that point. We didn't really understand anything. We were young. We were naive. We narrowly escaped a disaster on the very first house that we almost bought. Not because of our wisdom, but because of divine protection.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, interesting enough, I remember that the financing didn't go through because they sent an appraiser, and the appraiser said to the bank, I wouldn't loan on this house.
Yeah, it was CMHC.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting was, now I think back, we didn't do a septic inspection, we didn't do a well inspection, and we didn't do a home inspection.
I know.
We
didn't know what we didn't know.
Didn't know what we didn't know, or the realtor didn't know how to protect us, or maybe inspections weren't common? How many years ago was that?
That was 33, almost 34 years ago. No, 35 years ago.
Okay, so home inspections weren't real common.
Right. And back that many years ago, real estate has changed significantly in that back before 1995, all realtors in the province of Ontario actually represented the interest of the seller. And because they were representing the interest of the seller, right, Ken, what they had to do was really protect the seller. They weren't actually there to protect the buyer.
Yeah, that caveat, buyer beware, was super important back prior to buyer representation coming into play.
1995. So in the last 25 years, the great news is the realtor that you choose to hire and represent you is actually there to protect you, even from what you may not know, even to protect you from yourself. And so that's what this is about. This show today is about what we wish we knew that somebody ought to have told us, somebody. And maybe we just thought we knew it all when we didn't know it all. That's been a problem in my life for sure. And so this house, it was actually in Jasper. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
Jasper.
Oh, I do.
It was a yellow brick century home.
Right. And what we got all enamored about is it used to be the house in the town. And so that's all I can remember thinking about it. What we didn't know was that the trusses in the attic were actually busted, and it was a major structural issue. So inspections will help you significantly. I didn't know I should have an outside third party. That's pretty commonly known today. And yet we still get people saying, oh, no, I'm just going to have a friend, or I'm just going to do it myself, or, oh, please don't. Just spend your money and get a thorough inspection.
My friend finished a basement once, so he's going to check it out.
Yeah, not a good idea.
And even if they're a contractor and they do things for a living, they're not trained to spot deficiencies.
Right.
They may catch some.
Yeah, they will.
But they're not really trained to look for deficiencies in a property.
Well, and even if they are there looking for deficiencies, I find often people have their biases. And because of their biases, they may point out something as a major problem that really isn't a major problem. So I wish I had known who to go to for what insight that I needed when I was getting my house.
Right. And then we went from that almost fiasco to buying a house in Elmer, a townhouse.
Right.
And what we really didn't take into consideration, and this would be on our shoulders, because a realtor in Elmer, he did a good job. But we didn't know what the tax implications were of working in Ontario and living in Quebec with 2 income earners with only 1 child. The tax benefits were not there to live in Quebec compared to living in Ontario. The other thing we didn't do you remember this?
Oh, I do.
We didn't drive across that bridge in rush hour.
Right. So doing the commute, like whether it's Ontario and Quebec, that's not really the point of this, what we didn't know. It's really about drive at different times a day from where your regular pattern of commute is going to be. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a bicyclist, bike it at different times of day. Like make sure that where you think you want to be, that location actually works for you.
Yeah, because that commute for us went from 15 minutes to 45 minutes when we hit rush hour. And then my job moved and I went out to Walkley Road. So I was coming from Elmer to Walkley and Bank.
Right.
That was a heck of a drive.
So just really be aware of the commute. Be aware of your traffic patterns and even your extracurricular activities. Where are they? Are you okay with it in the long haul? It may sound great when you do it 3 times, but really think long-term out. We didn't think long-term out. What did it really, really mean? Mm-hmm. And test it all. And then the other thing we didn't think about thoroughly enough is whether it was that location or another location, what kind of appreciation happens in real estate in that area? Because even in the Ottawa area, there's areas that will appreciate greater than other areas. How long am I going to think I'm going to be living in that house? If it's less than 5 years, the level of appreciation really, really matters. I wish I knew that although I was paying less for the house, when I was going to sell it in a few years, I was probably going to lose money, not make money.
Yeah, or get a lot less increase than if I'd bought somewhere else.
Exactly.
And people in the glebe would attest to that.
They would. They'd be happy, happy, happy.
Yeah, we recently sold a home for an elderly couple that lived there for 50 years.
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine if they bought that same house in another part of the city or maybe in Elmer, that house would not have appreciated the way it did. And we got over $200,000 over asking price.
Right. And it was priced basically around market value. We thought it might go up a little bit, and yet it went up significantly. And so really thinking about the area, because knowledge, like really having knowledge is power. And
even more than just knowledge being power, it's knowledge in action is powerful.
Exactly. So we're grateful to be your partners in growing wealth through real estate.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward.